the numbers of how many have been killed, murdered, maimed, displaced in Gaza. Now, this chart, I think it's a great chart. However, it's already out of date. I mean, these things are out of date basically 10 minutes after they're printed. But already we're above 7,000 Palestinians have been killed. We're above 3,000 children have been killed. I don't know the current numbers of these, so I'll just read the ones they have here. 207 educational facilities hit, 72 attacks on healthcare facilities, 170,000 housing units damaged or destroyed, and over 1 million people have already been internally displaced. Basically, over a third of all those being murdered right now in Gaza are children. And these numbers have been getting out there, and people have been educating themselves about this type of thing. And so our lovely government, including Biden, but I'm going to play a clip from Kirby, the national security spokesperson. They've decided they got to do something about the fact that these numbers are becoming known, and we're starting to hear about thousands and thousands of children murdered by Israel. And so he came out and they've started saying that these numbers, we don't trust these numbers. Let's see, I think. Well, he said, quote, the Gaza Ministry of Health is just a front for Hamas, a terrorist organization. We can't take their anything coming out of Hamas. However, Human Rights Watch and others have shown that the numbers have been very accurate in the past and now coming out of the Palestinian Health Ministry. But beyond that, just look, this person did an amazing job of mashing up the two ways John Kirby press briefing at the White House, the two ways he responds to dead Palestinians versus dead those murdered in Ukraine. And let's watch this 1-minute video.
And being honest about the fact that there have been civilian casualties and that there likely will be more is being honest, because that's what war is. It's brutal, it's ugly, it's messy. I've said that before. The president also said that yesterday. Doesn't mean we have to like it.
It's hard to look at what he's doing in Ukraine, what his forces are doing in Ukraine, and think that any ethical, moral individual could justify that. It's difficult to look at the...
He doesn't even know how to fake cry.
I will say not many men.
Sorry. It's difficult to look at some of the images and imagine that any well-thinking, serious, mature leader would do that.
Who is he talking about?
He's talking about Putin. So basically, when it's Palestinians being murdered by Israel, he says, look, this is war. It's ugly. Civilians are going to get hurt. That's just the way it is. That's his response to Palestinians dying. When it has to do with Ukrainians dying, because it's useful to the U.S. proxy war to act like
they're blonde.
Some of them are blonde, but it's useful to the U.S. proxy war to get manufacturer consent to fight Russia. He says it's tough to look at what Putin's doing and the harm that's done to that and how unethical it is. And I don't know how to fake cry. He legit has no idea how to cry. He's trying to, he goes, excuse me. And he goes, no one cries like that. He doesn't know what he's talking about because he's never had a real emotion in his life. He's a sociopath. All right. He's fine with killing children when it's useful to the American empire. And when it's not useful, he has to pretend to be sad about it. And he's like, well, how do I pretend to be sad? And they go, well, just you go out there and pretend you're choked up. And he's like, I don't even know what that means. So he goes,